Typo! 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 No! Hey, what's going on guys? Impulse191 here, welcoming you back to another video. In this video, we're going to take a look at my top 6 Johto Pokemon, which is obviously Generation 2. And if you missed out on the first generation, the link to that will be down in the description. Now, I've chosen these 6 Pokemon mainly because of nostalgia, but also because of their battling capabilities as well. If any of the Pokemon on this list have more than 2 weaknesses, we're just going to narrow it down to 2 to make things simple. So sit back and enjoy the video. So starting off in the number 6 spot for me is Bounce Back the Wobbuffet. You can see that it is a psychic type with weaknesses to Dark and Bug, and it holds the ability Shadow Tag, which is an incredibly good ability. The reason why this Pokemon is made it to my number 6 spot is because of the anime. Wobbuffet were always doing crazy stuff. It was always the comedy relief of the show, but it was also really powerful. It even deflected an Articuno's Ice Beam once, which is kind of impressive considering it's not a legendary itself. Look at his face, just derpy and quirky. Gotta add him on this list. Alright, now we move to the number 5 spot, and for me it's Prince of KH, the Lantern. KH is a water electric type with a weakness to ground and grass. It has the abilities Volt Absorb and Water Absorb, which are both extremely good. The reason it's on this list for me is because it reminds me of one of my old online friends, Prince of KH, which is why I name it after him. As for competitive play, I think Lantern is underrated. It has a really high HP stat and a great special defense. It makes a nice utility Pokemon, if used right. But unfortunately not many people use it that way, so it doesn't get a lot of use, and it makes me cry. I would have liked to put this Pokemon higher, but there are so many good Pokemon in 2nd gen. So unfortunately KH, you have got to settle for the 5th place as we move on. And in 4th place we have P2 the Porygon 2. I know, top marks for originality on nicknames, right? P2 is a normal type Pokemon with a weakness to fighting. It has the ability Trace, which is an incredibly good ability for a defensive Pokemon, which is how I use Porygon 2. Obviously I used to use it with leftovers, but now because of Eviolite it's even better, being able to take hits from even OU Pokemon. And of course, because Trace is very versatile, you can borrow abilities such as Volt Absorb, Water Absorb, Intimidate, and so on, and get the upper hand in many situations. I'm not really sure what it is about Porygon 2 that I like the most. It is obviously really good, as I've said, competitively, and it's got a really cool and quirky design. So that is the reasons why it's on this list. So let's move on. So the number 3 Pokemon on my list is Flopsy the Blissey. Blissey is a normal type with a weakness to fighting, and it has the ability Natural Cure. The reason it's made it to this list is purely because of its competitive capabilities. Blissey has the highest base stat in HP in the entire game. Paired up with its special defense, it makes an incredible special wall. I still remember the nightmares facing Scar and Bliss back in 2nd generation, and those strats held out all the way to 4th gen. So there's no surprise why it brings back so many memories. Of course, some of those memories were bad, but a lot of those was good as well. So let's move on to number 2. The number 2 spot for me has to be Beatstick the Forretress. Forretress is a bug steel Pokemon with a weakness to fire, and it has the ability Sturdy and Overcoat. I remember using this Pokemon for the longest time. I'm not really sure how it got the name Beatstick, but it's probably because of how much punishment it can take. Forretress is a really good defensive Pokemon that can set up all of the entry hazards, and it also has access to Rapid Spin. So in my opinion, it is a underrated Pokemon for competitive play, much like some of the other Pokemon on this list. I don't know why, but Beatstick's derpy appearance just really calls out to me. I used to have it in almost every team for a long time, so that's the reason why it's made it to this spot. At this point in videos we would normally do an honourable mention, but instead of that, I'd rather you guys drop your list down in the comments section so I can compare them to my own. Now let's move on to number 1. The number 1 spot for me is Oh, I've just realised I typoed. Well, it's supposed to be Blitzer the Heracross, but I guess it's too late to change that now. Anyway, Heracross is a bug fighting type with a weakness to fire and flying. It has the ability Guts and Moxie. It's always been my favourite Johto Pokemon in both the anime and the game. Because it was funny in the anime where it always used to jump Ash and his Pokemon, and it's great for competitive play. And it was even before it got a Mega Evolution. If you've seen any of the Let's Plays that I've done where I've caught a Heracross, you'll be able to tell straight away how awesome I think it is, from my tone of voice and such. And because of those reasons, that's why it's my number 1 Johto Pokemon. So that's going to be it for the Johto list. If you have enjoyed this episode or learned something useful, don't forget to meteor mash that like button. And of course, I will have Generation 3 coming sometime soon. So keep your eyes open for that one. And hopefully we'll have no typos this time. Anyway guys, I'm going to get out of here, so I hope you have an awesome day and I'll see you in the next one. Laters!